Hey, Atheist Man here. Um, yeah, that's what I'm going by now. If you watch my channel, move back over here into the light, then you'll know what my views are on religion in a general aspect and in a specific aspect. Um, and something happened today at work. I currently got another job, excuse me, and one of my coworkers I met today, I honestly I don't even know how the topic got brought up. I cannot remember, and quite frankly, it doesn't even really matter. Um, I do know he mentioned that he was a Christian, and he said that he's like, yeah, it's good for you. It's good for you in the long run. I was like, what is? I thought you maybe talking about something else. He's like, oh, Christianity. I kind of like, okay. Just kind of shrugged it off a little. And then he goes on to say that, it just makes more sense to him that, things in science he doesn't really think are applicable. And it wasn't his exact words. I'm kind of sort of rephrasing a little bit to make it more easily understood. But still, in the same context. But he said that things like evolution was just too convoluted, too complex. All these little things have to happen, for one thing. And it just didn't make any sense to him. He said, a creator makes more sense to him. And I understand people have their own views and their own ideas on things, and they're entitled to that. They certainly are. Just my thoughts on that are, it's so narrow-minded. If people thought like that, if everyone thought in that way, there's no way in the world the technology we have now would even exist. Because people would have been so narrow-minded that they wouldn't even bothered thinking of it. And to me, when people think, oh, well, this is too complicated, so I'm going to go with something a little more simple, that my petty little mind can understand it. And I know that's probably rude to say, but, that's the way I see it. When you say, oh, this is too complicated, this makes more sense to me, so I'll go with this because I don't feel like wrapping my head around this other thing. That's narrow-minded, ignorant, and shows an abundance of stupidity in my mind. I'm going to school right now for my engineering degree in electrical engineering technology, which is basically building computers and a bunch of other things dealing with electrical technology. Like for an example, the robots that build the cars in factories. Something like that is what I would be working on. And, without stuff like that, the cars on the road, we wouldn't have them. Those robots built with an amazing amount of precision. Some of them are even more precise than human beings themselves. And that's why we made them. Because they're more precise. And furthermore, once I get done with that, this is not set in stone yet, but something that I've been interested in since childhood, something I've been given a massive amount of thought to lately, is when I get done with my engineering degree, I'm thinking about enrolling at a state university, NC State in Raleigh, here in North Carolina, for astrophysics. I plan to ultimately, is my plan that I'm considering right now, is to ultimately obtain a PhD in astrophysics. And that's part of who I am. I like to broaden my range. Not only of opportunities I can make possible for myself, but broaden my range of intellect. Provide myself with more knowledge, learn new things, discover new things. recently I've been watching a TV show, or not TV show, a documentary on Stephen Hawking. I believe the title of it is Hawking. I believe. But Stephen Hawking is one of the people who I've always looked up to in the field of science, period. Him and Neil deGrasse Tyson. I hope I'm pronouncing that middle name right. He's basically like the Chuck Norris of astrophysics. Is honestly the best way I've actually heard him described. That is not original from me, obviously. But he kicks ass. But, you know, I mean, you look at people like Stephen Hawking. You know, when he got his disease, he could have said, oh, well, you know, it's too much work, fuck it, you know. What's the point? No. He's like, you know what? This is hard. Yeah, with these disabilities, it's even harder. But so what? I'm going to kick this shit in the ass. He's like, I'm going to get motherfucking smart. I'm going to show the world that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And I honestly think that was the mindset that Stephen Hawking had. And it's a good one. It's one that I think everyone should adopt. I mean, no matter what happens, just push forward and keep trying. Keep learning new things. Just because something is difficult for you does not mean you should simply give up. Does not mean you should revert back to something that is more easily understandable to you. You know, if you go with what's easy, you're never going to learn. If you work through the hard stuff, if you get down to right down into it, you know, just grit your teeth and bear with it, you'll come out better in the long run, I promise. I mean, it's always better to work through the tough stuff than it is to go through the easy stuff. I mean, look at weightlifting for an example. I mean, yeah, you can build your body with, you know, just doing like pull-ups, push-ups, sit-ups, stuff like that. Stuff using your own body weight. But then you're going to hit a limit. You're going to hit a roof, basically. You know, where you can no longer build any more. However, if you add weights, making it more difficult, you raise the ceiling on what you are potentially able to do. And, I mean, look at bodybuilders. I mean, holy shit. Them people are big as hell. And it's just, I think that's a good example. I mean, if you work through something that is more difficult, you'll be better for it in the long run. And that's the point I want to make. I didn't say anything to this guy because we were at work and I did not feel that it was an appropriate setting to have a debate like that. I do not believe in having religious debates, or debates between religion and non-religion, in a work environment. I just simply do not believe that's appropriate unless your job is to debate those things. Then, you know, obviously it's appropriate because, you know, it's part of the job. But, you know, the place where I'm working, I ain't want to say where I'm working. I'm not going to give out any names because, you know, I don't want to offend anybody. But, you know, if you're watching this video, you know who you are. I don't mean any offense to you. It's just my point of view. Anyway, that wraps up the video for the day. Thanks. Peace out.